So we look at kind of where you're spending your time. And then also we want to make sure that we promote conversation among similar users. So the same thing kind of goes with comments. How connected are those users to that particular topic? And if a strong cluster all flags someone as a spammer, are they allowed to show up and participate in that cluster? And how can we kind of group these users together? And how can we keep out certain flamers? So it's ways of, we know now that it's impossible, we've always known that it's impossible to get everyone together in the same room and have a positive conversation all the time. You just can't do it. You know, you're going to be mixing all different demographics of people, and they each have their own different agenda and things that they want to talk about, so it's really difficult to do. So if we can start making smaller groups of people that are like-minded, the spammers can talk to the spammers, and it will be a good time. So that's stuff that we're thinking about. But the thing that really gets me excited is really what we can do to show your impact when you participate. So it's not just about the number going up by 1. And so what I'm thinking about is, like, in the near distant future, we can calculate how you're clustered together with these other users, so that when you dig something, you immediately see how you're helping spread that story. So imagine a world in which you come in and you see a story about, you know, fedora hats, and you say, okay, that looks cool, I just read that, it's interesting, I'm on the site, you don't have to visit Digg, you're on there, you see the Digg button, you click it, the number goes up by 1, and it also says, hey, by the way, you just spread this with 3,837 other fedora type users that are into this content. So instantly, as you're digging, we're showing you who it's spreading to, the amount of people that you're helping spread the message to. And then also the same thing when it comes to burying. So potentially when you bury something and you don't like it, we show you how many people you kept from seeing that story that are like you. So it's working and figuring out ways in which we can expose this data and make it important for you to participate so you know your impact. I think that's really exciting. And then of course, pushing this content to wherever you live. Now we want to make sure that we always, everything that's submitted to Digg falls under the Creative Commons public domain license, so it's completely free to move around. And we want to make sure that we stay connected and push this content into the different places that you participate online. So if it's when you dig something, it automatically goes into your Facebook feed and then is pushed out to your Facebook friends, and that can be rich media content, that can be images, that can be news stories. We just want to be the conduit for that, along with like other sites like FriendFeed, Pounce, Twitter, etc. And then the last thing is that, you know, the fact that we have this recommendation API or this recommendation engine behind the scenes, and once we continue to evolve this and get it working, we want to really help publishers out a lot and provide tools for publishers in which we can expose other data within their site to these users. So if I go and visit you know, the BBC site and I'm on the front page and the BBC does a call to the recommendation engine API and finds out who I am as a user, and Digg says, hey, by the way, BBC, you have a story in your sports section about rock climbing that Kevin's really going to like. We think you should expose that to him. Then somewhere on the page, the BBC can say, hey, we know who you are based on where you participate on the web, and here's a story that you might also like and read about that's, you know, maybe 30 pages deep on their site and have been hidden for years, but it's something that I might enjoy. So being able to collect all this data all over the web from where I'm participating and then provide intimate recommendations for these publishers, I think, is a really powerful thing to drive deeper usage of their sites. So that's something we're really excited about. I think I went pretty fast, but so that's pretty much about it. I wanted to leave some open time so people could ask questions about some of the stuff we're doing, and potentially, you know, if you're building large kind of consumer social sites, that if there's anything that we've run into that we've had a hiccup on and I can somehow provide any help, please come up to the microphones. Anyone at all? There's got to be one question. There we go. Okay.
Morning, Kevin. David Petherick from the Next Web. I'm interested in the structure of how you're building this in terms of physical infrastructure. Are you going to need to develop cloud computing for this to scale? And what are the issues that you've had with scaling this? Because I think I foresee that it could be a huge development for what you're doing at Digg.
Yeah, absolutely. It's extremely difficult to do a lot of this stuff in real time, and I know that one of our lead engineers had to build a custom graph database and got outside of PHP and started doing it all in Python. But I truly, there's a great opportunity for all of you here. Joe Stump, who is our lead architect at Digg, is here at the conference, and you'll see him around here somewhere. Definitely go say hi to him. He had a talk yesterday about scalability, and he's more than happy to share kind of some of the stuff that we've learned over time. Okay, a couple more questions? Someone's got to be building a community website out there. Oh, there we go.
Hi, I'm interested in your taxonomy because we have a subscriber news site, and one of the problems we've run into is the taxonomy terms are different in different countries, particularly between the US and the UK. So I wondered if you'd made any progress on linking your users to their taxonomy terms.
You know, it's really early days for us. One of the things that I wanted to make sure was extremely easy about Digg when we launched the site is, you know, we had the option to say, okay, do we want to do something fixed, or do we want to allow our users to tag the articles? And you know, I was talking a lot to Joshua Schachter, who's the guy that started Delicious, and at the time, because we had to pool certain stories together, and because tags were all over the place, we had to create a fixed taxonomy so that people could come in, submit stories, and then have a place to find them. But with the recommendation engine, it works a little bit different, and it's all about the connected users. So we can start looking at the stories themselves, the keywords that are inside of those stories at the time of submission. So if someone takes that story, submits it, we can go out, crawl and parse all of that data, and then find the relevant keywords within inside and kind of create our own taxonomy based on the words inside of the article. We have not looked at it in different countries, but I'm sure the guys that are working in R&D, that's something they're looking into. But the really interesting thing is that different clusters of users can also live around a certain keyword. So you can have, you know, people that are pro Barack Obama candidate and dig all pro stories, and then also people that you know, bury these stories and have two separate groups of users that have a different take on the same keyword. So it's really about clustering those people around that particular keyword and making sure that you're putting the right people in the right buckets. If that makes sense. Another.
So hang on a second.
Get your exercise.
Can I just squeeze a question in? Sorry.
Who was that?
Heard.
Okay, well, hang on. We'll start with the one here.
Do you worry by focusing completely on people's niche interests that you're actually narrowing their horizons? They stop looking at the bigger picture?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the question was, by looking at the niche interests, do we think we're kind of narrowing the horizon and stop looking at the bigger picture? One of the things that we want to be able to do is obviously provide quality content to these people that they care about, but also at the same time still maintain that zeitgeist view where we have, and really enhance it. I mean, today when you go there, it's just kind of a list of stories with the most recent promoted at the top, and there's a lot more we can do there when it comes to that zeitgeist view, showing you breakdown of, you know, the different types of demographics that are digging different stories, the different regions that are digging different stories, and there's a lot of extra data that we can expose there. So that page is not going away by any means. It's going to be enhanced, and we're going to provide even more ways to drill down and slice the data up so you really can see what's going on globally and remove certain types of interests and add others. And so that's something that we absolutely care about. But also we want to make sure that when you're coming to Digg, it's not boring either. So, you know, we look at a lot of things behind the scenes. There are users that exist out there that we call our prescient users, and these are users that are very good at predicting things that will eventually become very popular. They're kind of the tastemakers, and these people actually exist. And it's kind of crazy because when these people start, when multiple people